Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to talk to you about using or actually creating a Google form and as a quiz, which will be self-graded, and then putting it into your classroom. So the first thing here that you want to do is navigate to google.com if you aren't familiar with getting to your drive. If you just type in Google, if you're not signed in already, you'd see a box up here to have you sign in. And then from there, we're going to go to the apps icon and open Google Drive. So this is your apps icon, and then the little triangle thing is your drive. From there, we are going to create a new form. So we go to new, and this will open up and you'll see more and then forms. So new, more, forms. You could name it, which is always a good thing to do from the start. You could type in a description, this is a quiz about different types of automobiles or something like that. All right. From there, we want to turn it into a quiz. So if you click up here, it will take over your name and you don't have to retype it. So to make it a quiz, we go to the gear, we click on quizzes, slide this over. Another really good thing to do is make sure that it's collecting email responses so that you can identify who your people are that are submitting it. All right, so that was turning it into a quiz and those settings on there. Next thing we want to do is start working with your questions. So your first question here, they give you one by default. I would use multiple choice. It's the easiest to grade. Which type of car has four wheels? I don't know, something like that. All right. So maybe you want to put in a picture to look for something like that. I don't know. I'm going to go with the Jeep. And so you could type in, have a picture as a reference. Takes a couple seconds there. Oh, maybe I didn't press insert. Insert. All right. And you can resize this if you want to make it a little smaller. And maybe your options are Jeep, motorcycle, horse, I don't know. Trying to have some multiple choice options here. Obviously, it'd make it a little more difficult, but that would be setting up your question. You do have lots of other options here for as far as answer options, short answers, paragraphs. Those have to be kind of assessed individually. Your checkboxes are more for a survey and a drop down. File upload, that would not be self-graded either. You'd have to look at that file. Linear scale would probably be more for a survey, 1 through 5. Multiple choice grids is pretty good for matching. Date and time might be good for math types of applications. All right, so that's setting up the form a little bit with question types. When you want to make a new question, you would just press the plus, and that gives you a new one down here and kind of start the process. You can import questions from other forms. You can add titles, like for this one, it's just kind of like a section adder. You can duplicate, you can delete the question, which I'm going to do there. You can put another image kind of outside the question, adding video, so it'll go right to YouTube. That's a good thing if you want to add some questions to that. So it's all contained, and sections kind of divide things into different parts. So that's a little description at sidebar, which is pretty simple and user-friendly. So once you go through there and you have your questions, I'm just going to delete this one from now. As we're saying here, we want to make your answer key. So since we made it into a quiz, you see this little pop-up here. So all you're going to do then is just check off and the one that is correct. So you could do multiples, but that would kind of be the right answer there. What's nice about this too is that you could go as you're reviewing your answers. Once it's a quiz, you can give feedback and tell your students why one question may not be correct there. All right, so once you made your answer key, then you're going to want to share that form. So to do that, all you do is press send, and you could email that to all your students if you had a list. It's a lot easier just to click on the link icon, you can copy it, and then in your assignment, so if we're going back to our app icon and going to classroom, then we can just go into your classroom, and if you're not too familiar with the different types of creations you can make, an assignment is going to generate a category in your gradebook. I don't like maintaining a Google gradebook and an online one through our grading system, so I just do a material. All right, that way it's just posting the link, which we'll do by adding a link, and then you can see later, and actually, if you're not too familiar with um, some shortcuts, Control V will paste. Also, if you right click, then you can do a paste. All right, and we already, since we copied it before, it kind of puts it into your pasteboard, and I'm just going to put that in. So now what that would do is it's going to post that right into your assignments, and you can get into topics also, but that's probably like another, I have some topics made, which is useful for organization, but won't spend too much time on that. So that's sharing it with your classroom. And then as we just did there, so then after we pasted that link, then you want to view the results. All right, so I'm going to get out of that classroom assignment, and your results would show up here in responses. Now, since nobody's taken this survey yet, I'm going to kind of just go and I'm going to look for one that is done in my Google Drive. If you're not aware, you can kind of do some filters, so I can filter by forms, and that's going to show me all my forms I created. And I have a bunch of stuff here. I'm going to look for one that's one of my quizzes. So here we go. All right, so to view that response, again, you're going to look on the response tab, and they break it down into a couple different ways here. All right, so if I go to responses, we can look at a summary of the whole class. So this is going to give you your breakdown of their score, which is self-graded in those multiple choices, by email address, which is very useful. You can also go just by question, so you can see how everybody answered to one particular question. So you'd see here, but that doesn't really show you too much there. I don't usually lose that one too much. Individual is useful though, so for one student you can look down and see how they scored, maybe on different types of questions. This is useful too if you have one question that is a write-in. You can go in there and you can give feedback and you can score it right in there. So I guess that gets a little more involved when using different types of answer choices, but your multiple choice again is the easiest way. And that's pretty much it. So you have your form created, it's posted to a classroom assignment. Once those students go and click on that link, your answers automatically come back into there. For some practice, I would recommend creating a form, sending it to somebody, and experiment with different question types. If you have any questions, that's my email address. Hopefully that helps. Good luck.